Everyone, and welcome back to our channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about a podcaster called Kill Tony at Trump's rally. I'm sure you've all heard about this, at Trump's rally in New York City, Madison Square Garden, in a disturbing display of Kill Tony unleashed a vile remarks about Puerto Rico and the Latino community. He called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage, and he made these disgusting comments or jokes about Latinas, claiming that they love making babies and don't know how to pull out. Yes, you heard that right. These hateful words aren't just jokes. They're harmful stereotypes, and they promote racism and sexism. But here's the thing. Latinas aren't taking this lightly, and they are fighting back with fierce resistance, and we've got the powerful responses right here. I'm going to be playing you guys these videos, so watch as we showcase the strength and resilience of the Latino community in the face of hate. It's time to hold accountability and demand. Watch these clips.
Shame on you if you're one of the Latinos that is trying to say that this is okay.
Wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor. If you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah, I think it's called Puerto Rico.
I already saw so many comments of people saying things like, I'm Latino and I approve this message. I'm Mexican and I think it's just a joke, haha. I'm Puerto Rican and I'm not offended. Are we forgetting that this is a presidential election? They are not even trying to hide their racism. Can we just really think about that? Blatantly, they are platforming and pushing forth these narratives. Absolutely wild, gross, and disgusting. So the Latinos that are cool with this, just know that they think about you in this way too, and they will never claim you. The whiteness that you crave so much will always be out of your reach. Familia, I have so much more to say. Just let me know. What do you all think?
All my Puerto Ricans out there, did you just hear that piece of shit motherfucker at the Trump NYC New York City rally just now called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean? For those disgusting words to come out of that disgusting mouth is insane and nasty as fuck. The fact that these piece of shit, racist, prejudiced fucking assholes can literally stand there with lots of pride and bravado to call an island comprised of U.S. citizens that have literally made their homes traditionally and historically in New York City, and New York City is the hub of Puerto Rican culture outside of the island, is the nastiest work that you can do in this world. To my Puerto Ricans out there, look at what these you-know-what supremacist pieces of shit are saying about you, your culture, and your island. There are about 9 days left until election day. Don't let this one slide. Don't let them get away with this shit. To my Puerto Ricans in NYC, in Philly, all over Pennsylvania, wherever you're at, listen to what these pieces of shit have to say about you, your island, and your people, and get shit done, and go out to vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz so that we can vote them, these you-know-what supremacists, the fed of our lives entirely.
When I saw conservative comedian Kill Tony say at a Trump rally in Madison Square Garden today that Puerto Rico is a pile of trash in the middle of the ocean, as somebody who grew up in the state of Florida, the first thing that went through my mind was, are you stupid? And yes, I understand that this is a comedian, and I understand that he's on stage to make jokes. He also made a joke about Black Americans carving watermelons during Halloween. The thing that really actually just baffles me, though, is that the Trump campaign did this having to know the fact that this would be cut up, this would be put on the internet, this could be potentially run in campaigns, and Florida is very much in play right now. And I don't know if anybody at the Trump campaign did any research before they allowed Kill Tony to go on that stage, but there are 1.2 million Puerto Ricans in the state of Florida right now. Not to mention the fact that Latinos make up 17% of the overall voting population in the state. Most people incorrectly assume that most Latino voters are in the southern part of the state, but that's actually not true. In the past 20 years, there has been an explosion of Latino voters in the central part of Florida, which over the course of the past few election cycles has been more Republican than Democrat. But you have counties like Marion, Polk, Pasco, Pinellas, all of these types of counties that are in the central part of the state from Tampa to Orlando and those surrounding counties, those are very, very much having high volumes of Latino voters over the course of the past 20 years. The only thing in my head that I could think of was the voters registration deadline for Florida passed on October 7th. So maybe they're just hedging their bets that this isn't going to drive a lot of people to actually register to vote, or they're hedging their bets that Latino voters don't turn out. But even then, the risk of just having somebody for laughs and to be able to entertain an audience in Madison Square Garden, that could come at the expense of a large population of voters in the state of Florida, it just doesn't make sense. I understand that Latino voters, they are a little bit skewing towards Democrat, but there is a huge population of Latino Republican voters because they are conservative, because they come from Christian backgrounds, who have traditionally voted for Republicans. And I think if this was to get in front of them, if the statement that Puerto Rico is a pile of trash in the middle of the ocean were to be able to seen by them at a Trump-Vance rally, I think that that could actually influence a couple thousand votes. And as we are aware, based off the past few election cycles, a couple thousand votes really, really matters right now.
A floating island of garbage, also known as Puerto Rico. You're gonna say that in New York City? To say that's disrespectful would be the understatement of the century. Did you know that Puerto Ricanos have participated in US wars since World War I? Contribution to music, the arts. And I know what you're gonna say, oh relax, it was a joke. It's not funny. Spoiler alert, it never was. In the past, we had to pretend like the joke was funny and go with the flow to assimilate, to survive. But it's not funny. It never was. When you think America was great, it wasn't, not for brown people. I don't know when a lack of moral character was not a deal breaker to become the president of the United States of America, but I know one thing. These jokes will not stop if he becomes president. If you want to allow prejudice and discrimination for cheaper gas prices, I guess you can. You don't have to. They're telling you exactly who they are to your face. You decide if they make jokes at your expense and the expense of your kids or not.
We're not laughing. 6 million Puerto Ricans in the U.S., the second largest population of Latinos in the U.S., are not laughing. Mexicanos, Colombianos, Hondureños, Salvadoreños, and every nationality represented here from every Latin American country are not laughing. In fact, all 65 million Latinos living in the U.S. don't think it's funny what was said last night at the Trump rally. And let's make one thing clear. His campaign began in 2016, declaring war against all Latinos by calling all Latinos rapists and murderers. And suddenly, every racist person in America found their leader. They no longer had to hide behind the keyboard. Now they have a voice. And they can say what they really think of all Latinos. And this leader gave them a voice like he did last night at Madison Square Garden. We're not garbage, rapists, murderers. We're teachers, doctors, attorneys, journalists, and yes, farm workers. We are generations of sweat and tears that has made the U.S. what the country is today. Our presence is everywhere. Schools, hospitals, courts, restaurants, hotels. And you would not be eating that plate of food without a Latino first pick those fruits and vegetables. Oh, and one more thing. Latinos, we can also vote.
Puerto Ricans are Americans. And if the majority of the Puerto Ricans left the island, came to the States to vote, Republicans would be asked the fuck out. Do you know how many Puerto Ricans live in swing states? How easily they forget that Donald J. Trump, during his presidency, when Hurricane Maria hit the island of Puerto Rico, he went to the island for a photo shoot. He delayed response to Puerto Rico. And not only that, but when he did go visit the island, he threw paper towels at my people. As soon as this statement was made at his Trump rally, Bad Bunny, the biggest and most popular Puerto Rican artist, reggaetonero, came out and endorsed Kamala Harris on his Twitter account of 45 million followers. He actually posted a video as to what Kamala Harris and the plans that she has for Puerto Rico and its economy. If you are a Puerto Rican and you are still voting for Donald J. Trump, shame the fuck on you. You know what we call people like you? Vendepatrias.
I feel like a lot of people are misunderstanding that Puerto Rico joke. When he was comparing Puerto Rico to a floating pile of garbage in the ocean, what he was saying was that the country of Puerto Rico is a piece of shit. How did that go over people's heads? I feel like that was a pretty simple joke, like a pretty self-explanatory for the most part. And I feel like if you don't find that joke funny, it's not because the joke isn't funny. It's because of liberal censorship. Kamala Harris is Indian. Did you know that? She's not even really black, to be honest. They're trying to take your guns. Watch out. The immigrants are coming. They're taking your job. Oh, you're unemployed. They just took your job just now. Damn. Yeah, no, it had probably nothing to do with the fact that the guy who said the joke was a low-budget podcast comedian who was only hired because the Republican Party, for the life of them, couldn't find a single A-list comedian to do a sold-out show in Madison Square Garden.
Let's talk about Puerto Rico and the comedian that decided to just decimate this beautiful place with his words after having experienced what must have been an aneurysm. Because Puerto Ricans are people that are filled with pride in their home, in their culture, in their religion, and particularly in their families. They are a very resilient group of people. During and after Hurricane Maria, where Be Strong and my partners at GEM sent 53 planes in and out, I experienced a resilience and a faith that everything was going to be okay as long as they were with their families, no matter what they had lost. And having rescued dogs there, having surfed there, having vacationed at beautiful resorts there, shopped there, experienced Old San Juan, had great cocktails there. It's a great and beautiful place that has definitely taken a beating at times, but that was a despicable comment. And to the Puerto Ricans, I am sorry, because no one should ever degrade someone else's home and make them feel shame about where they live. That was vile.
I know many people won't see this video because I don't have a lot of followers, and that's okay, because I don't do TikTok for following. I literally do it just to have a good time. I am a Puerto Rican, and I saw the jokes that were made yesterday about our culture, our island, and other minorities, as the world likes to call us, minorities. Although this country is made up of mostly Hispanics and people from other countries, because America is North, Central, Latin, and South America. Let's not forget that. And the majority are Hispanic Latinos. I just watched a video of a woman who chose to come on and tell us to not get our panties in a bunch and to relax because it's a joke. I understand that jokes can be making fun of other people because I love comedy shows. But when I choose to go to a comedy show, I know that most likely races, people, whatever you are, will most likely get made fun of. And I understand that. But this wasn't a comedy show. This was a political rally. This is a place where you bring what you really want to highlight in what you can do for this country and these people. And you highlight that so that we will either know that we want to vote for you or know that we don't want to vote for you, regardless of the other party. This man chose to make fun of people, an island that brings so much money to this mainland country. You chose to put us down at a rally. This was not a comedy show. I don't want to get ugly and I don't want to do tit for tat. But I am amazed that you as a Puerto Rican are still choosing to support a man who does not care about you. I don't care about the policies that either party can bring to the table and what they can do. At this point, it is your character that speaks for you. It is how you speak of others. I typically do not let these things get me because it's social media. Social media is just a joke. It's a way to just entertain yourself. But this one hit hard. We are the most loving, forgiving, kind, welcoming people in the world. And for you to support somebody who would make fun of that, I hope you're open to being made fun of out in public. And don't sit there and say that was offensive or I'm hurt. Because if you're choosing to support somebody who does that, then don't go crying when this fun is being made of you, personally, just you as a person. Good luck to all of you who choose that path. It's so sad. You all keep saying we have to come together, make America great again. I'd like to know when America was ever great. And you know what? You should change that. Why don't you make the United States great again? Because when you say America, you're incorporating a lot of people. And some of us are really embarrassed to even be a part of this country. Because you say America. Being from Puerto Rico, I am American. But this is embarrassing. That's all I have to say.
I'm leaving the garden right now. That was a very extreme speech. Definitely not the kind of speech that tries to win over moderates, independents, swing voters in these final days. It was really more of like a CPAC crowd playing to the base. Trump is talking about bringing back a law from 1798, the Alien and Sedition Act, so that he can have the largest deportation in history. The imagery was really dark about migration and crime. He called November 5th Day of Liberation. The lineup before him was really extreme. I mean, some of these speakers were making racist comments, calling Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage. They said that Kamala Harris had pimp handlers, wild comments about black people. It was just like all over the place. Everyone seemed to be offended. It was a very crazy experience. There's a lot of concern already about those comments that the comedian made. Puerto Ricans make up about 500,000 voters in Pennsylvania, and they become sort of Trump curious. And this is a voting bloc that they were hoping to win over. So I could see the GOP having to clean up that mess.
Okay, so a lot of people are saying that it's not surprising to them that Q-Tone would come out the way he did at the rally, at Donald Trump's rally. But it's hard to believe that a comedian like him could ignite such controversy with his remarks about Puerto Rico, calling it a floating island of garbage, and doubling down with crude stereotypes about Latinos. So his comments weren't just offensive. They weren't just offensive because this has sent a firestorm online. Like, everyone is talking about it. Every Latin person has come out to call out this guy. I mean, things can just flip out in a second, just like that. Okay, so this has drawn a fierce criticism from politicians and Latino celebrities who are outraged by the blatant racism. So this rally, meant to rally support Donald Trump, instead seems to be driving a wedge between GOP and key communities as we age closer to the elections. It's interesting to see how these inflammatory remarks are backfiring, especially as prominent Puerto Rican stars are now endorsing Kamala Harris. What a loss. Are the Republicans making more enemies than friends with this rhetoric? It certainly looks like that way. I mean, it's 9 days to the general elections, and these guys supposed to be making friends and not enemies. I wonder what is going on with these people. Yeah, just if you check my previous video, I made a video about prophetess Celestial, where she gave this prophecy in 2022 about having Mrs. Harris as America's next president. When I see such things like this Kill Tony things, I'm completely convinced that yeah, Madam Kamala Harris will be the next the next president of the US, okay? Because now as we speak, stars are endorsing Kamala Harris. Yeah, I said that. And the Republicans are making more enemies than friends. Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, guys, on this situation. Do you think the Trump campaign can recover from this backlash, or I think it's too late? There's no need for me to ask that question. It is too late, because I mean, like I said, it's only 9 days to the main elections. Like 9 days, barely a week, and we have such things. I mean, where did Trump get this guy from? If you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and yeah, guys, leave your own thoughts in the comment section down below. But otherwise, just to add on this a little bit, this guy's remarks were filled with racism, stereotypes, and whatever happens to Trump's votes, I'm not gonna blame anybody. I blame Donald Trump. I mean, where was he? Where is he getting these people? How do you bring such a person to come out and represent you? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Tony. Kill Tony. Yeah, guys, please let me know what you think about this video in the comment section down below, and I'll definitely see you in my next video. This was a quick one. I know it's not much, but yeah, I appreciate your support. I love you guys, and I hope you love me too. Stay peaceful.